Remy, Caro. Buenos dias, mi amigo. Good morning, friend, and welcome to the Immigrant Whisperer podcast. I'm your hostess, Dr. Janet Awokoya. In this episode, we will continue our exploration of Chapter 3 from my dissertation, I Am Not Enough of Anything. This episode introduces you to the research participants who shared their experiences as 1.5 and second generation Nigerian college students in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. We will delve deeper into the challenges they faced in navigating their racial and ethnic identities, as well as their relationships with both Africans and non Africans. The key themes that you'll learn about the research participants in this chapter include how they navigated their racial and ethnic identities in different social contexts, their relationships with Africans and non Africans, the impact of their parents' expectations of their identity, issues around colorism and skin bleaching, and the role of education in identity formation. Join us as we explore the complexities of identity and the unique challenges faced by 1.5 and second generation Nigerian college students. Before I start reading the second part of Chapter 3, I would like to take a moment to give a special thanks to our supporters of the Immigrant Whisperer podcast. First, my mom, Beatrice Awokoya. Mommy Eshegon, Olorun Abukunyin. Next, my cousins Jide and Moni Delano. What's up, Lucas? Lucas! I really do appreciate your support. And Moni, happy birthday, love. God bless you. I wish you many, many more years of joy, peace, and everything your heart desires. My daughter, Celeste Awokoya Gregory, thanks for hanging in there with me, little sis. I truly appreciate your consistent and loving support. Dr. Wendy Carter Veal, thank you for joining me on this podcasting journey and continuously supporting my research work. I truly do appreciate you. And for my listeners who are interested in pursuing their PhD, I highly encourage you to visit Dr. Wendy Carter Veal's new YouTube channel. It's called Tada! PhD Completion. She'll teach you the tips and strategies that you will need to successfully navigate your PhD. Because, look, the reality is a good dissertation is a done dissertation. You heard? So please go and visit her YouTube channel, Tada! PhD Completion. Like and subscribe to the channel. My good friend and colleague, Dr. Deepa Shrikantaya. Deepa, we need to catch up, sis. Good looking out. I appreciate you. And finally, an anonymous donor that gave us a very generous amount. Whoever you are, I am so grateful. Thank you for believing in our work. I truly appreciate you. So, my friends, if you would like to donate to the Immigrant Whisperer podcast, please see the PayPal link below and know that every donation, whether big or small, is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your support. Now, let's begin episode 3, part 2 of the Immigrant Whisperer podcast, Unraveling the Fabric of Identity, a research methodology for understanding African immigrant youth. Description of participants. Ngozi. Ngozi is a 24-year-old second-generation Igbo, currently residing in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. She is in her second year of doctoral program in a predominantly Black university. She spent most of her childhood years in multi-ethnic and multiracial neighborhoods in California and has attended both predominantly white and predominantly Black schools. Her father is from Enugu, the capital city of Enugu State, Nigeria, and her mother is from Nri,
in Anambra State, Nigeria. Both cities are located in eastern Nigeria. Ngozi's parents are college graduates and hold professional positions in the healthcare industry in California. Together, her parents earn over $80,000 before taxes. During the interview, she shared that her mother will be returning to Nigeria upon retirement, and her father will join her within the next few years. Ngozi also plans to visit Nigeria for the first time this year and is very excited about the opportunity. Ngozi was an extremely quick-witted, articulate, and opinionated participant. She wears dreadlocks in her hair and is very casual in her dress, but does accessorize with large earrings and necklaces. Externally, Ngozi appears to be a serious militant and describes herself as such. However, upon talking to her, I found that she was very intuitive, caring, and family-oriented. She is an avid reader of Black and African histories and is trained to teach secondary history. She was very eager to answer all of the interview questions and did so providing clear examples of her experiences as Black and African in the United States. Dayo. Dayo is a 24-year-old second-generation Yoruba currently residing in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. He is currently finishing his second year at a predominantly white institution, majoring in computer science. He spent most of his childhood in predominantly white suburban areas. His father is from Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, which is a city located in the southwestern part of Nigeria. His mother is from Ibadan, Oh-yoh State, the third largest city in Nigeria. Dayo's parents are both college graduates. His father works as an engineer in the DC area, and his mother is a nurse for a government research facility. His family earns over $80,000 before taxes. Dayo spent most of his childhood in racially diverse neighborhoods and attended predominantly white institutions. He was very shy and reserved during the interviews and focus group, and required a great deal of prodding to answer questions. His interviews focused mostly on his lack of self-esteem and his racial experiences in schools. Dayo admitted that he believed he was ugly for a long time, which was fascinating to me as I saw him as a tall, dark, and very handsome young man with a dazzling smile. He explained that he often felt like a cultural outsider with whites, blacks, and Nigerians when he was younger, but is beginning to accept his hybrid identity as an adult. Emeka. Emeka is a 25-year-old second-generation Igbo, currently residing in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. She recently graduated from a predominantly white institution with a degree in criminal justice. Her parents are both from Anambra State, which is located in southeast Nigeria. Both parents are college educated. Her father worked as a teacher in Nigeria, but in the U.S. is a tax collector for the state of California. Her mother is a certified nursing assistant in a California hospital. Her parents have been divorced for 7 years. Her mother earns between $20,000 and $39,000 before taxes. She is unsure of her father's income. During the interview, Emeka described a very close and positive relationship with her mother, and described her relationship with her father as very tenuous and, in her adult life, non-existent. She explained that her father left her family when she was younger, even though many members of the Nigerian community tried to convince him to stay. Emeka spent the majority of her schooling years in racially diverse schools and neighborhoods. However, she often socialized among Black students in her school. Her experiences with her Black American peers served as the primary focus in our interviews. Emeka was very direct in her conversations and expressed great frustration about her experiences with Black Americans in her schooling life. She consistently talked about being Black by default. By that, she means that she often felt forced to socialize with her Black American peers because of her skin color. She explained that she was often referred to as the white girl and regularly accused of acting white. She shared that she struggled with these labels in middle school and high school, and as a result, was intentional in her decision to attend a predominantly white university. In the university setting, she joined a white sorority and surrounded herself with individuals with various racial and cultural backgrounds. Remilekun Remilekun is a 1.5 generation Yoruba who is currently residing in the DC metropolitan area. She was the only participant who came to the US at the age of 6. She is 23 years old and recently graduated from a predominantly white institution. She is currently working full-time as a statistician in the federal government. Her father is from the Kogi region, which is located in the north-central part of Nigeria, and her mother is from the Delta region, an oil-rich part of Nigeria. She is unsure of her father's educational level. Her mother attended nursing school in Nigeria. Together, her parents earned from $60,000 and $79,000 before taxes. Her mother and siblings joined her father in 1991 for economic and educational opportunities. My first interview with Remilekun was very interesting and humorous. She spoke a great deal about her transition and adjustment to her new life in the United States, particularly focusing on the expectations she had about her new home. Some of those expectations included believing that her life would be perfect in the US, that she would have servants waiting on her, and the roads would be paved in gold. The most interesting expectation was that she would turn white upon entering the US. Remilekun's expectations of the US is consistent with the understanding that many Africans have of the US as a wealthy and white nation. She explained that her perceptions were primarily based on media depictions, as well as the information she gained from family members and friends who lived in the US and returned to Nigeria with gifts and stories of America. Throughout the interviews, Remilekun shared her frustrations and disappointments with trying to adjust to life in the US. She discussed her personal and familial struggles to adjust to poor Black urban neighborhoods when her family first moved to the United States, as well as her challenges and successes in predominantly white suburban neighborhoods and schools. Uzoma. Uzoma is a 23-year-old second-generation Igbo. She is currently pursuing a master's degree in education at a predominantly white institution. She spent most of her childhood in ethnically and racially diverse environments. Her father is from Lagos, the largest city in Nigeria, and her mother is from Benin, a neighboring nation to Nigeria. Both of her parents are college graduates. Her father is currently unemployed but ships items abroad part-time, and her mother works for a department store. Her family earns between $20,000 and $39,000 before taxes. I found that Uzama was the most difficult participant to interview. I had great difficulty securing a mutually convenient time with her, and we often had to reschedule our appointments. During the interview, Uzoma was very reluctant to discuss her experiences as a child of African immigrants. She was very bitter about the fact that her parents did not teach her and her siblings traditional Nigerian customs and were not afforded the opportunity to interact with other Nigerians or visit Nigeria. She also explained that her parents did share their native languages with her and her siblings and believes it was because they both come from different ethnic groups. Uzama spent the majority of her schooling years in predominantly Black American schools. While she did share some experiences about her African identity, the majority of her conversation focused on class and racial issues that she experienced in her academic life. Uzama was the only participant in the study who strictly identified as Black American. Bunmi. Bunmi is a 26-year-old second-generation Igbo currently residing in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. She is currently a doctoral student majoring in political science. She spent most of her childhood years in multi-ethnic and multiracial neighborhoods and schools in Massachusetts. Her father is from Umuahia, which is the capital of Abia State in southeastern Nigeria. Her mother is from Imo State. Both of Bumi's parents are college educated. Her father earned a PhD in higher education, and her mother worked as a nurse. They are both now retired. Within an hour of emailing my research study to campus organizations, Bunmi called to ask if she could participate. She was very excited about the subject matter and shared that the research topic was very relevant to her own life as a child of African immigrants in the United States. She also informed me that she was researching the same topic for her future dissertation. I had originally told Bunmi that she was not within the target age group to participate in the study. However, she asked if I would consider extending the age limit so that she could participate. After getting permission from my advisor, I increased the age limit to 32, thus allowing Bunmi and Ama, another person who showed interest in the study, to participate. I called Bunmi to inform her, and she came to interview the very same day. I enjoyed interviewing Bunmi. She had a great deal to contribute in the individual interviews as well as the focus group. She initially presents herself as a very shy and timid individual, but I found that she would become immediately engaged and outspoken on particular topics. She was most animated during discussions on her parents' struggles in the U.S. as African immigrants, the lack of discussion on the diversity within the African diaspora in the political arena, and her struggles in gaining validation on her Nigerian identity. She admitted that she did not experience identity issues until she attended a college in which there was a significant African population. She shared that though she still finds herself having to explain her Nigerian identity, she is much more comfortable with the process and strongly believes in educating others about the diversities within and among the African diaspora. Kunle. Kunle is a 25-year-old second-generation Gokana currently residing in the Baltimore metropolitan area. He is currently working on his bachelor's degree at a predominantly white university in the DC metropolitan area. His parents are both from Rivers State, Nigeria, which is located in the southern part of Nigeria. Both parents are college educated. Kunle was born and raised in Bronx, New York, and grew up in neighborhoods and attended schools that were ethnically and racially mixed. His parents urged him to relocate to the Baltimore area to live with his sister, Ama, after experiencing many problems in New York. After learning about my research topic from his sister, Kunle expressed a great deal of interest and enthusiasm in participating in the study. In fact, he asked to participate in the study on several occasions. Ama shared and Kunle later confirmed that the reason Kunle expressed such interest was that he had been waiting for someone to do a study that addressed the experiences of African youth in the United States. I found Kunle to be one of the most interesting, funny, confrontational, and animated participants. He had a reaction, an opinion, or a story to practically all of the interview questions. During the interview, he often imitated his parents' accents and told long, elaborated stories that made you feel as if you were in that particular moment. My interview with Kunle ran for over 3 hours and 30 minutes. While Kunle has never been to Nigeria, he was quite articulate when it came to Nigerian politics and the experiences of Nigerians backslash Africans in the United States. In fact, he talked a great deal about his family's challenges in the US as Africans. In these discussions, he often highlighted the challenges he had with traditional Nigerian expectations and the contentious interactions he had with Black Americans. Ama. Ama is 31 years old and was the oldest participant in the study. She is a second generation Gokana and is a doctoral candidate at a predominantly white institution majoring in pharmaceuticals. Her parents are from Rivers State, Nigeria, which is located in the southern part of Nigeria, and are both college educated. She is Kunle's older sister, and they are currently living together. She was also born in Bronx, New York, and has visited Nigeria one time. She would like to go back to Nigeria to visit, but her parents discourage her from going because of the oil conflicts that is currently happening in the Rivers State region. She was very interested in participating in the study, but her coursework made it difficult for her to meet with me. I eventually had to drive to her home to interview her. During the interview, Amma vividly discussed her home life as a Nigerian growing up in the United States. She offered interesting stories of her parents' expectations of her, her responsibility for her younger siblings, but the most consistent topic was her personal battles with her African identity. Amma is an attractive, dark-skinned woman with large, bright eyes, long dreadlocks, soft dimples, and a dazzling smile. I found her stunning to look at. The topic of colorism was a constant theme in my interview with Amma. At first, she was very hesitant to introduce and discuss her skin bleaching, but later became very open, comfortable, and emotional about her experiences with colorism as the interview continued. I felt very sad for Amma as she described her experiences because I saw her as a very beautiful young woman. However, listening to her talk, I could just imagine the pain and ridicule that she endured because of her skin color. It was one of the most difficult interviews for me to conduct because her description of her experiences was so touching and real. Femi. Femi is a 21-year-old second generation Yoruba. Femi is currently enrolled in a predominantly white institution majoring in marketing. He grew up in predominantly Black American neighborhoods and attended school in racially diverse settings. He currently works at a fast food restaurant and lives with his mother and sisters. Femi's father is from Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, a city located in the southwest part of Nigeria. His mother is from Ibadan, Nigeria, the capital of Oh-yoh State and the third largest city in Nigeria. His father received a PhD in theology in the US, and his mother finished secondary school in Nigeria, but has attended trade schools in the US. His parents are currently divorced, and his mother makes between $20,000 and $39,000 a year before taxes. I found Femi to be a cocky and proud individual. This was interesting because he also described himself the same way. His responses were brief and to the point, and at times it seemed as if he did not like the questions asked. His interview was relatively short, lasting approximately 45 minutes, and I had to do a great deal of probing to get him to elaborate on his thoughts. An interesting topic in Femi's interview involved his feelings towards the Nigerian traditions observed in his home. Femi shared that his parents enforced traditional customs in the home. However, he expressed a disdain for practicing these expectations with other Nigerians. He explained that his dislike stemmed from his parents forcing him to demonstrate respect in ways in which he felt uncomfortable. He specifically expressed that bowing to adults showed reverence to a point that was unnecessary and undeserving to a human being. He shared that he was intentional in staying away from first generation Nigerians because of his experiences with their emphasis on maintaining tradition and respect. Interestingly enough, Femi's friends are primarily other 1.5 and second generation Nigerians and Black Americans. He identifies himself as an authentic African American. Abimbola. Abimbola. Abimbola is a 21-year-old second generation Yoruba. She came to the United States when she was less than a year old. Abimbola grew up in racially and ethnically diverse neighborhoods and schools. She is currently a junior at a private, predominantly white institution in the DC metropolitan area, majoring in psychology. Her parents are from Lagos, Nigeria, and both graduated from universities in Nigeria. Abimbola's mother passed away when she was 10 years old, and her maternal grandmother relocated from Nigeria to help her father raise her and her three sisters. Her father remarried approximately 5 years ago, and together he and his wife earned between $60,000 and $79,000 before taxes. Abimbola was a very engaging young lady. I liked her immediately when I first met her. She carried herself in a very mature and responsible manner. It was obvious while talking to Abimbola that she had to grow up rather quickly to help her father and grandmother raise her younger sisters. She explained that although her father tried to allow her to enjoy her childhood after her mother's passing, she felt an innate obligation to help her family. She also shared that although she had opportunities and scholarships to attend a university outside of the DC area, she chose to stay nearby to continue helping her father and grandmother. During the interview, Abimbola shared that she is now witnessing her sisters go through some of the same challenges she had with her racial and ethnic identity. However, she finds that they are handling the process much better than she and attributes their success to two reasons. First is that she believes her father is a bit more relaxed with his expectations because of his experiences with her as the oldest child and his extended residence in the United States. The second reason is that she actively supports her sisters by advising them on how to deal with issues that they have with their parents and peers. Adesina. Adesina is a 22-year-old second generation Yoruba. She is a senior at a predominantly white institution majoring in public health and is considering a graduate degree in the same field. She spent all of her childhood in predominantly Black American neighborhoods and schools. Adesina's parents are from Ondo State, which is located in the southwestern part of Nigeria. Both of her parents are college educated. Her father works in real estate and her mother works in the social services industry. Her parents have a combined income of $60,000 and $79,000 before taxes. I met Adesina at my presentation at the African Student Association, ASA. After the presentation, I saw her looking at me and so I approached her to ask if she would be interested in participating. She explained that she was interested, but her busy schedule would make it difficult for her to participate. In fact, Adesina was very reluctant to do so because it was her final semester of school and she was working many hours a week. I gave her my contact information, requested hers, and eventually she called me and agreed to participate in the study. I truly enjoyed my interviews with Adesina. She was very opinionated, expressive, and had a great deal to say about her identity experiences. In fact, she would begin talking about the research topic as we walked to the interview room to begin the session. She also expressed to me that the reason that she ran for positions at the university was because she wanted the opportunity to positively address some of the intra-ethnic and intraracial issues she experienced as well as saw others experiencing. For instance, Adesina ran for president of the African Student Association after experiencing and witnessing the marginalization of other 1.5 and second generation students by members of the ASA. She decided to run to encourage communication and relationship between the various generations and found that she was very successful in bridging the different generations within ASA. Eventually, under Adesina's leadership, ASA began to create programs and engage in volunteer activities that fostered collaboration with students from the Black Student Association and Caribbean Student Association.
Blessings, friends. We hope this episode has provided you with a deeper understanding of the complex experiences faced by 1.5 and second generation Nigerian college students. Through in depth interviews and focus groups with these 11 research participants, we were able to capture their unique perspectives on navigating multiple cultural identities. By sharing their stories, they have shed light on the challenges and triumphs of balancing cultural expectations, academic pressures, and personal aspirations. In episode 4, our next episode of the Immigrant Whisperer podcast, Identity Formation Among African Immigrant Youth in Family, Peer Groups, and Schools, we'll explore how these different social contexts shape the development of young people's identities. Friends, that concludes the current episode. Thank you so much for listening. Before I let you go, I want to tell you about my book, Some Black Girls Don't Sit Together in the Cafeteria. In this story, we follow Oluwaseyi, a young Nigerian girl navigating life in America as she grapples with cultural identity, academic aspirations, and the pursuit of belonging. Shei's story is a beacon of resilience and strength, showcasing the remarkable contributions of African immigrant youth to our school communities. Also, I encourage you to support Black education and literacy by purchasing a Black Girls and Boys Read t shirt from our website and empower the next generation of Black leaders. Together, we can create a world where every child has the opportunity to thrive. But wait, there's more. We've been sitting here for a while, and it's time to move around. Head over to our sister channel, Zakosa Fitness, for some fun stretches and dance moves to help you unwind and de stress. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We'll continue to explore the diverse experiences of immigrants and their descendants in future episodes. Take care and see you next time. Peace.